Tammy and John, thank you for being here. And we do have a sheet full of questions for you, so I'll go ahead and let Susie get that started.
I'm going to start off with a question, I think, with you, John. I think it's fair to assume that everybody in the audience has heard of Capital Federal, and some like me probably have bank accounts there, have home mortgage accounts like David Sollers and maybe some others. And could you please share a little about CapFed's history and what makes your bank unique?
Yeah, so Capital Federal, we started back in 1893. I'll take you year by year here. Otherwise, it's a short conversation here. But we started back in 1893. We were a traditional savings and loan thrift that focused on the consumer and single-family residential mortgage. Yeah, we went public back in 1999 in a kind of different structure. Yeah, but not a full public company, but we sold a portion of it to the public at that time, and that's when we started the foundation that Tammy is president of today, and what the Julie and David were talking a little bit about where we've been able to give back to the communities. Since that time, we went to a full public company back in 2010. Yeah, and probably the biggest change where we are today as a bank, we bought a bank here, a community bank here in Topeka back in 2018. And since that time, we've gotten more involved in the commercial banking space and kind of transitioning out of single-family residential lending, but that's still a main focus of the bank. Yeah, but things have changed a little bit for us in what we're doing today and what we are as a bank that all of you have known for many years. So trying to expand and do different things in the community, and not only the residential, but the commercial side of things, the business banking, now getting into wealth management, trust, and private banking. So more of what people think of a community commercial bank as. Capital Federal's transitioning to that, and so far things are going pretty well in that regard.
All right. Next question is for Tammy. As you know, today is Washburn's Day of Giving, as we've talked about a few times already. And you know a thing or two about giving. You have a career in giving through the CapFed Foundation. So can you share a little bit about what the CapFed Foundation does, how long you've been doing it, things like that?
Sure, thank you for having us today. I've been with the foundation since 2009. I've had the pleasure of working there. I work with Anya Leonard. There are two of us that work in the foundation. And to just give you a little background about how the foundation was started, John and his father Jack, who were always very philanthropic in everything they did, in 1999 had the opportunity to start a private foundation. And they did so with $30 million in cash and $30 million in Capital Federal stock. That first year, they gave out $347,000. And there'll be some key numbers later that I'll let John share with you. But they started the foundation to, as Julie had mentioned earlier, give back to those communities and hopefully make a better way for the citizens in those communities, which are Kansas City, Lawrence, Topeka, Manhattan, Emporia, Salina, and Wichita. And they had 4 focus areas that they began with, which remain the same today. Education, with a focus on higher education, the United Way, community development, which started as affordable housing, and then an area deemed traditional giving. John and Jack appointed 3 additional trustees at that time that each had specific expertise in those areas. And so they have the focus areas, the trustees, and they have been giving back through the years. And at this point, the foundation, the total assets are over $93 million. And they've given to over 900 different organizations in all of those communities. And I will let John, we had a milestone this year, I'll let John talk about that, and also he has some other information to share.
Yeah, so the fund milestone that we hit this year, you just never know. When we started thinking about the foundation as we were going public back in 1999, it was an opportunity that we could do that. And as Tammy said, we seeded it back then with $30 million. Just really, thinking of, good sized amount of money and what we could do. We're required to give away 5% of the assets each year. So at that point, you're looking at about $1.5 million to give away. And as Tammy said, the year before, we gave away $350,000 as an organization. So kind of excited about what the difference could make. And you always kind of looked and dreamed about what it might be in the future. But this year, with the dollars that we put into the foundation, we added another $40 million. Back in 2010 when we sold the rest of the company to the public. So we've seeded with over $70 million. We don't take any money from anybody else because we always want to make sure that it is something that the foundation is giving back. It's not somebody else's money that we're funneling through there. But as Tammy said, we're still about $93 million today. And this summer, we gave away and passed the $100 million mark of giving. So back when we started it, I don't think any of us ever dreamed we'd hit that number, especially within 26 years, to be able to do that and hopefully make a difference in the lives of many people in the communities where all of us live and work. We feel it's an opportunity and maybe an obligation to give back to those communities and hopefully make them a better place to live and work for everybody. So it's been a good ride. We still got $93 million to go, and if we get the stock price back up and other investments, we've got even a bigger opportunity to make a impression on the communities going forward. And with that, as Tammy and I were kind of looking through these questions that Susie was nice to share, so we act like we're prepared. We thought, with the Washburn Day of Giving, and the excitement about that, the excitement that it's created in the past, that we wanted to be part of that. So we have put together a matching grant today of $15,000 for the Forever Washburn Fund for Excellence. So Mark, that's with my cheat sheet here, but make sure I got that fund right. But the exciting part for that is Tammy and I were talking, it's an unrestricted fund. And so many things within the Day of Giving and so many good causes, so many areas of need at Washburn, or for something specific. I do know, being on a certain board, Dr. Mensichek, Marshall, have, needs that aren't always as specific as somebody would like. And so the idea that we could do something on the unrestricted side of things to give them an opportunity to make a difference in areas of Washburn that somebody else hasn't thought about and, kind of come up unknown throughout the year. We wanted to do that. So if you're scrolling through the QR code and looking at all the different opportunities, hopefully you do that so that, we can give that $15,000 and we can make a big difference for Washburn going forward.
First of all, that's incredible. I want to introduce Jemima really quick. Will you stand up and wave? Our lady in red. She is our captain of day. I do that because, can you get that on the website really quick? We just got, so now you're at 100,015,000 in giving. We've got to get that on the website and get that match out there. So I don't normally encourage people to take their phones out during a presentation. In this case, if you feel the urge, you're right. Please do.
John, Why is philanthropy been so important to CapFed, and how have you used it to strengthen the communities you serve and create an impact? Can you give us an example of something that you guys
I mean, it's something that fortunately my grandfather, my father have instilled in myself, and a lot of people as part of the culture at Capital Federal. They started many years ago giving back to the community, and it's continued on through many generations at the Capital Federal. So it's something that's important, and I made the comment earlier, this is where we live and work. And I think it's an obligation for us to give back to the community. And if we can make Topeka a better place for everybody, make Washburn a better place for students, all of you sitting in front of us here today, it's a fun opportunity to be able to do that. And, fortunately, we're in a position to do it. And I think with that, we have an obligation to give back. So, over the years, out of that $100 million, you're going to make me pick things that are fun to do, things that I think just for the Topeka community, some big things maybe hadn't taken off as like we all envisioned, but Evergy Plaza downtown, Capital Federal along with Evergy Plaza made the two initial gifts to that created a runway for other organizations to give and make that plaza downtown and hopefully rejuvenate Topeka in the downtown area. Probably a fun one on a personal basis, which is maybe not what I should say with the Capital Federal Foundation, but you do get a little influence on radio. You see the Capital Federal Natatorium. That was a opportunity back when we first started the foundation, and a friend of mine was on the 501 foundation board at that time. He said, "You got some kids that swim. Why don't you think about a naming opportunity for the natatorium?" And he hit a good button there, and we did that. And it's been a lot of fun, and having two kids that grew up swimming and swam there for many years, but also seeing what it does for other kids that swim in the Topeka area, but also the number of meets it's brought back to Topeka on a good size scale that you see. Not only are you giving to those kids that swim, but you're also making an economic impact on the community. So that's probably two on the big side. But for Tammy and I, a lot of the ones that are the best are small ones that you will never even see in the 10 whatever form we file that tells everybody what we do. But you won't be on there because we might circumvent how we do those are anonymous, but they're small ones that probably the dollars we get to those make a bigger difference to those organizations and those people. And when you can see something like that and you can see somebody smile, those make it a lot of fun.
I'm a swim dad times two, so thanks for the natatorium. I'll be spending my whole Saturday morning there. Tammy, the CapFed Foundation has a long history with Washburn. Can you share some of the highlights of that relationship?
Sure. Well, there are many, and Washburn is one of our favorite places to participate. But I think I'll throw it back over to John and let him talk about that first year that the foundation was formed and one of the first gifts and the large gift that they decided on that year, because he has a history there.
So we announced in August of '98 that we would go public. And part of that article back when there was a newspaper and everybody read that. And that article, it talked about not only were we going to take the company public and do that, but we were going to create a foundation. And fortunately for Washburn, two very astute individuals were here. Dr. Jerry Farley and Ben Blair, who was the chair of the Board of Regents at that time. I'm not sure that most people had even read the newspaper yet on what we were going to do. They called one to go to lunch. Like, well, tell you, this is right now just a dream and a vision of ours. But they were already in talking to us about what the opportunities could be, what they would like to talk to us about for Washburn. And that was in their time frame here, the vision for the Living Learning Center. And they talked to us about that, and we ended up making a contribution to the Living Learning Center right away. Kind of chuckled as I walked up, and it was awful cold out here this morning versus that announcement was in the middle of June or July, I think, and they made us ride in a convertible cart. And most of you know me, I tend to sweat a little bit. That was the most miserable day I've ever had. Just convertible and drenched going, okay, we'll give you the money. Can I get the money?
Well, then I think the next most memorable would have been the lighting and strength and conditioning gift. Then the scholarships began, I believe, in 2010. I know that there have been 125 scholarships, athletic scholarships given, and we have decided to increase. Instead of 6, we'll be doing 8 per year starting this year, and 5 nursing scholarships. Indoor facility was also we
Spectacular.
spoke a lot for commercial during that time. Very excited. Very recently, the Lee Arena renovation, and we helped with the softball locker room, and then the ladies here from the Leadership Institute. In 2010, we started sponsoring the Leadership Challenge event, which is a really neat event as well. And I think those scholarships are always fun for us because we're able to come once a year, have lunch with the recipients as well as the coaches, and we all leave with we just feel like we have the best day of our lives. The students that are picked are amazing every year.
So I might add with that kind of a fun story with seeing Coach Ballard here. The giving that we've done with Washburn, a lot of it's come since the early days. But one of the first things we did, got us the 2 big Capitol Federal signs at Lee Arena. And back at that time, my nephew was playing for Rockers, so his grandfather, who was on our original board of trustees, was here for the game. And Kerry Dickerson was in the endowment, working with athletics, and unfortunately that day Washburn lost in Rockers. My father-in-law was very happy with my son or his grandson doing well. But Kerry was telling us that those signs were getting ready to come down because we had made a gift that had a stipulation that those signs would be up for a certain amount of time. And Ron looked at Kerry, and he had these big long fingers. He wagged his index finger at him and said, "It would be in your best interest never to take those signs." Kerry got all nervous at that point, and I think, Mark, nothing against it passed general counsel, but I think there was something legally they had to take them down. Fortunately, it got up to Dr. Farley, and he said, "Take them down, but put them right back up." And I think, fortunately, I think we've lived up to, it would be in Washburn. And Brent's been a very good steward of those through the renovation. He said he took them home and took good care of them last year. So, got a new branch out southwest Topeka.
John, Capitol Federal and Washburn are 2 of Topeka's longest-standing institutions, and the connection between the 2 goes way beyond the foundation's generous giving. What are some other ways Cap Fed and Washburn have been intertwined over the past 130 years? When we talked about some of those already.
I think probably one way that we haven't talked about is the number of people that we have working at Capitol Federal that are Washburn graduates. That it's an opportunity with our headquarters right here in Topeka to get a look at great students and what they could bring to the organization, our bank, going forward. So not only is it intertwined between two long organizations that have been part of Topeka, from 1865 to 1893, till now, but the education, the people that have made Capital Federal what it is today, with the education they've been able to receive here at Washburn, has been very important in that intertwine between the two organizations.
Appreciate you employing our alumni and students.
Yeah, works out great. Okay, and you kind of touched on this one already, but outside of your great relationship with Washburn, what are some ways that the CapFed Foundation has made an impact in Topeka over the years?
I think we've talked about some of the energy classes and auditorium, just different organizations. Tammy got us the information the other day. Of that $100 million that we have given out at this point, over $36 million has been given out just here at Topeka. So you look at some of the larger contributions we've talked about that maybe make a bigger splash or get more recognition, but even when you look at those numbers that you see within $36 million, there's a lot of little things that we have been able to impact here, be a part of, to give an opportunity for people who are less fortunate to have an opportunity to succeed in life. As Tammy mentioned, the number of scholarships that we've done here at Washburn, but we've also done scholarships we have at KU, K-State, Emporia State, Wichita State, Johnson County Community College. And we probably do about $450,000 a year in scholarships for college-age students across those organizations. But it's so fun for us. Each of the one requirement that we have in giving those is we get an opportunity to either have lunch, breakfast, or have some kind of coffee interaction with those students to be able to sit down with them, because we talk a lot about buildings and programs and things like that, but when you get the opportunity to sit down with the kids that you're making a difference, seeing what you've done, that is allowing them to focus on their education and not have to be working and doing other things that are a distraction to their education and their involvement in each university. That makes it a lot of fun for us to be able to do that, and we get to have that interaction with them on an annual basis. Is really special for us.
And that education changes lives, so thanks for all of that.
Tell us about the role your employee ownership plays in your commitment to the community.
The employees are fantastic. I'll brag on them since, John and his executive staff encourage employees in all of the areas to volunteer their time. And along with that, in each region, they choose quarterly events to raise money for, and the foundation then matches those funds that they raise. And they have a lot of fun with it. They have food days and different gene days, which John doesn't appreciate that much. But anyway, the employees go out in the community, they serve on boards, and they're really good. The employees are just amazing throughout the company, and John and his staff are very supportive of everything that they do, and so.
They've actually participated in our homecoming parade the last couple of years and brought the CapFed vehicle, and different staff have handed out little tchotchke things of candy, and so even in the rain, the last 2 years it's right. They've been there and they're great. Great to work with. I appreciate that.
I noticed everyone in the audience wearing jeans.
Like jeans are not work.
sometimes they don't choose the nicest jeans.
Okay, last year we launched the Forever Washburn campaign, and it's off to a pretty good start. We've got Day of Giving going on today.
Our 15,000, but last year was.
We've got Day of Giving going on today, and that always builds a lot of momentum. But as some of our greatest supporters, what advice do you have for people who are considering philanthropy, considering making an impact through higher education or Washburn specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that's most important in philanthropy, we can sit up here and maybe talk numbers that, are big in size because of what we've been able to start at the foundation, but every dollar counts. And everybody giving back to their capability makes a difference in whatever project they're supporting. And it doesn't take big dollars, like we said earlier, some of the smaller ones we give are the most impactful to us and to those individuals or organizations that are receiving that, in whether it's those receiving it or those giving, giving and doing what you can. When you look at the size of the room here today, if we all do something, and do something that we're capable of doing and feeling good about that, passionate about it, in the end, we will make a difference in whatever you've chosen to give to. So, that's the neat thing about the Day of Giving. Sitting down last year after being here, with the Brenneman's gift and the excitement of Washburn's campus, and we had a Board of Regents meeting. I went home and got that QR code. There were so many things to give to and look at, and the challenge grants that were out there, and you start looking and going, well, I could give over here, and I could give over here, and they could get that grant here, and get even more money where, that's where it's fun, where you can know that your dollar is $2, and make a difference. The one thing I will say, as I found out last year, be careful. You can all of a sudden get to the end and your cart is rather large. Which is an awesome thing.
Yeah. Don't be careful.
So if you're on the stage with the wrong people, give early and often. But it was a lot of fun, and as a work sense, I was sitting there by myself in the chair, this is fun, let's get over here and start looking through all the different things. And it's been fun, on social media, all the different organizations, the athletic teams that have had things out, promoting the Day of Giving,
Championing these different projects.
making your job a little easier. They're out there doing those things, so it'll be fun to see what opportunities are there for people to make a difference for Washburn in this Day of Giving today.
All right.
Washburn's special. I mean, it really is. I think if we have an announcement about a gift, I've never had so many people in the community come up and talk about, thank you for giving that. Washburn's important. Washburn is a very special place, and it's the people that make it that way, and the students, and it's an easy gift because there's a lot of pleasure that comes with it.
And to that, we've been fortunate to be able to give to a lot of different organizations and all. And, and some, if you give to one area, somebody else can be a little upset because you didn't give to their area. And for 26 years, and the number of things that we've been able to partner with Washburn on, I have never seen that at Washburn University, that if I give to Susie, Marshall's mad. And everybody here has always been very supportive of any gift that we've given to Washburn and to whatever area, because if you're smart about it, you realize, okay, we've given over here, which opens up another opportunity for somebody else to give over here. So maybe even if you didn't get it, it's still taking Washburn to a new level and a new height that by the opportunities everybody else has. So, when everybody seems to be happy about what you've done, regardless of which area of the university is in. It makes it a lot easier the next time. Marshall calls me, or Julie calls me, or somebody calls Tammy, and Tammy's not, hey, should we do this? When you know that you're making a difference to the university as a whole, regardless of which area it is in, you've given in, it makes it pretty special.
Yeah, you two have slowly worked yourselves into the position of being our new spokespeople.
You got the outfit here.
Yeah, you do. That's great.
Yeah, your company colors are the right colors. I mean, it's a good partnership.
Can I take one opportunity here? One of our board members, the bank is out there, Michelle Phillip Cole, makes all this happen for us, so Michelle, thank you.
My board member too.
There you go.
She's been away from the Washburn speaker before, so.
You gotta have that support, and Michelle, we appreciate it.
All right, we're ready to go into some uncharted territory here and take some questions from the audience.
Yeah, any questions from the audience?
As long as you're present, you ask the question.
Linda back there.
Yeah. Can you give us just an overview about how your process works? Do you just consider applications that are received, or do you seek out opportunities proactively? And who decides, and what standards you apply?
We don't really seek out, because there are requests daily that come through. You can either email or call us at the foundation, and we don't have something that has to be filled out. We can provide you some guidelines of some of the things we like to have our trustees consider. Needs to be a 501c3 organization. And best thing is to just give us a holler. We can walk you through it. It's very simple. We request maybe receive an email, and then very quick turnaround. So it's a very easy process. Thanks, Linda.
Any other questions from the audience? Just the one.
Okay.
John, did you provide us a little bit about building corporate leadership and philanthropy and communities? For many generations, you alluded to that, your family has been leaders in Topeka at really setting the right standards for corporations and how they interact with the community. Could you just give us a little more insight into why your grandfather and your father and you think that is so important, and how you will let people doing? Yes.
Trying to think about what they were thinking. I mean, I think more than anything, just, for us in the banking industry and really any corporation, the communities have given back to us. Fortunately, a number of you have talked about being a customer of Capital Federal, whether it's a savings account or a checking account or a mortgage. But, if we're going to come and ask you for business, in a lot of ways, we have an obligation to give back and make Topeka a better place. And if we can do things that make it grow, that's a better opportunity where it comes full circle back to the bank. And if we're growing, it just kind of multiplies off of itself. And I think giving back, I don't really have anything profound. It's just the right thing to do. And I think fortunately for a community Topeka size, I see Mark Yardley, was with the Federal Home Loan Bank here. There was fortunately an article or 3 articles in the recent TK magazine about security benefit advisors excel. You talk about advisors excel all that, fortunately other organizations in the community have the same culture, the same leadership that giving back is the right thing to do. And that's where, going back, if we're all doing our part, and doing our part at whatever level that is, it's amazing what we can accomplish in the end with that. fortunately, it was an example. It was instilled in me by my grandfather and father that giving back was the right thing to do. And, hopefully if I'm doing the right thing at work, we'll instill that in the next generations, that are there, that Capital Federal will still be a part of the community, part of giving back. And the nice thing with the foundation, and doing it that way, it is there. We don't screw it up. That it will be there in perpetuity to do that. And, when you have the corpus that we have there and giving away 5% a year, you're looking at $4 to $5 million a year. And when I put it in perspective, that we gave away $350,000 a year before we started the foundation, you really see what a difference it can make. And I think, if we can do that, maybe it helps other organizations to, say, let us look internally and see what we can do for the community, the organizations, the entities that need these funds to make a difference. And if we can do that and do the right thing, we feel good about our situation.
One last question, somebody has it. Rick.
I'll just say thank you. We get all the football games, basketball games, soccer games, and other events. And, putting the weight room in and the practice facility, and you just look across the athletics. The basketball team's #1, our volleyball team, all the student athletes that we have here and the facilities they have. So just as a fan that goes to athletic games, I'd just like to say thanks for your support and thank all that.
Hopefully we make a difference, and if, maybe in the last year, that Brett keeps bringing up that the room that was built in the arena, we haven't lost in there since, so we knew the right time for you.
All right, well, quick update, 180 gifts. 66,950 raised. So, I will look for your challenge. Oh, we're gonna. I don't know. We always try and beat the previous year, and last year we did 600,000 for the first time. So. It's a really special day. And we'll see where it ends up. If you're on there during the 11 o'clock hour tonight and you have not broken 600,000, please help. That's fine. And we will make sure that your Forever Washburn Campaign Fund for Excellence challenge gift gets out front and center on the website so people can see that today.
As we mentioned, we're celebrating Washburn's 161st birthday today, and we have some books out on the registration table chronicling Washburn's first 150 years, and we'd like for anybody that wants one of these nice books to take one as our gift today. So thank you again for being here today. It's going to be a busy day for us at the Alumni Association Foundation, and let's go 600,000 plus in Go Bots. Thank you so much.